number 12, we have Robert Covington.
You just have to redo that.
Excuse me. Okay. Do. Coming in at number 12, we have a fantastic player. We have Mr. Robert Covington, known for his defense, but a fairly good three-point shooter. Again, he took the mold of someone like Harrison Barnes and took it to another level.
Yeah, I mean, Robert Covington is, when we talk about, like you said, Harrison Barnes maybe help developing that 3-and-D aspect, Robert Covington at the moment fits it better than maybe anyone on the list. He's a guy when you just need someone to hit the three from the corner, like Ariza, like Tucker, he's going to do it, but he's at the point where he's going into his prime and the point production is still there. He's one of the best defenders, not just a small forward, but in the entire league. He's also played on some good teams with Philly.
Yeah.
Minnesota obviously didn't go so great for him. But yeah, it's not like it's a guy who crumbles when he's under the pressure either. So if I have Robert Covington on my team, I'm pretty happy. And Portland's lucky in the sense that they are so deep, pretty much at every position, it seems.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, they have small forwards, they have shooting guard, they have point guard. Like, there's not a position on that team that there's really just a bad player, and Robert Covington just adds to them as well.
What I love about Covington's fit on that team is that Covington can come in, and because they're so deep at every position, he can legitimately come in and guard against, play against whatever the best player in the other team is, no matter the position, regardless. Like last year, he suited up as center for Houston. We keep talking about PJ Tucker. It was Robert Covington that was in their depth chart at center.
Yes.
Insane. The guy's not a center, but like the fact that he can go out there and bang against the center, he can go out there and bang at the power forward. We don't even know what position he's going to play in Portland. He's probably going to split his minutes between small forward and power forward. McCollum goes down. Oh, Covington goes down and plays shooting guard. Like he's going to go and play. He's so versatile. He's such a utility player, but his three-point shooting did take a bit of a dive last year. He's got to get that back up there. That's probably due to having that extra wear from banging against those big guys all day. I don't think that's where he belongs. But we're talking about the epitome of the 3-and-D role, and that is Robert Covington currently in the NBA.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't even feel like as much credit as a lot of people might give him for defense. I still feel like we don't even give him enough. I mean, if we look through the list, he's the only guy on it who had more than a block per game. The fact that even LeBron,
You're the center, though.
Yeah, but again, the fact that like when you just think of like athleticism, especially at the small forward, you're like, oh, LeBron definitely had a block per game. No, he actually had under a block per game, and Robert Covington had more. So I mean,
Do you want to know how many blocks he had?
How many?
2.2.
Robert Covington?
Yes.
That's what I mean. So it just makes no sense.
With that being said, as much as he was a center last year, he actually was putting up 1.8 in Philly 2 years ago. So that's actually not an absurd number for him. That's something where no matter what role he's in, he's still going to get somewhere between 1 and 2 blocks per game.
Yeah, and for a small forward, I mean, it almost feels unheard of. It's just, again, for a guy who don't think of just purely athletic, for a guy to be able to just have that vision, know where to go in the court, and to be able to contribute in terms of blocks, I mean, it speaks just volumes to how good he truly is. And again, like LeBron's one of the best defenders, and when we look through LeBron's stats, he's never had more than 1.1 blocks in a single year. So, I mean, the fact that Robert Covington is getting 2.5 blocks per game, that's double the amount that LeBron James has ever had, that's just unheard of to me. So yeah, if he could just get, I guess, a bit more efficient, consistent with the offense, if he get up to like the numbers he had in Philly, where I believe he was just around 15 a game, just under, I feel like it can maybe even get him a top 10 spot next year.
Yeah, and to me, it all depends how successful Portland is. It comes down to team success a lot, and how big of a portion of that success he'll be. Right now, I think he'll be a very, very, very big part of that success. I think they will be successful. They will be a playoff team next year. And Covington, he just fits that role so perfectly. I'm just picturing him and Carmelo Anthony on the court at the same time. And Melo is average at best defender these days, a little bit on the slower end. Covington is going to be able to – Covington has enough skill to take care of those mistakes, to take the bigger guy, to take the quicker guy, to take the more skilled guy. to be able to put Anthony on that weaker defender. That's my issue with putting someone like Zach Collins out there with Carmelo Anthony. As much as Zach Collins is a decent defender, Covington is an amazing defender. If you put Zach Collins and Carmelo out there and say you're against someone like LeBron James, that's a bad example because Anthony Davis. That's a bad example. But let's go with Kawhi. If you're going against Kawhi, you're going to have Covington to be able to guard that better player. If you're going against Milwaukee, you're going to have Covington to be able to guard Giannis. As much as he's not going to be able to guard them to the point where they're not going to score 25 points, they will score 25 points. That's who they are. But Covington is that star defensive player that every single team needs, and he fits that role in Portland so well. They're not known as the best defensive team in the league, but they'll be a better one next year.
Yeah, and I talked about it with PJ Tucker, where he's a guy who just deserves to play with good players. Not just in that sense, it's also because good players don't want to play against him for that same reason. Where even though, yeah, you know what, they might still be able to put up their average night on it, but you're not going off on Robert Covington. He's way too good. He's third best in steals among small forwards. Again, the blocks is just amazing for a small forward. You could have a good night against Robert Covington, but you're likely not having a great night, like you said.
Yep, that's just it. It's going to make it hard for you at least.
Absolutely.
Well, just on